Hello, UK Crime Book Club. Did you manage to get a photo then?
I have now.
We've kind of got a double introduction to do tonight. So, hello Lou, hello Sam.
Two
So,
names.
should we just say? Do you want to just introduce your two pseudonyms first, and then we'll talk about Gallows Wood, and later on we'll come to the Puppet Master.
Yes.
So
So,
start with Louisa Scarr.
so my real name is Louisa Scarr, and I'm the author of the Butler and West series. And I've just started a new series, which is about a police dog handler, which is called Gallows Wood. It has a dog on the front. But I also write as Sam Holland, and I write serial killer thrillers as Sam Holland. And the latest one is called The Puppet Master, which is out now. If that makes sense.
It really does. I'm just kind of hello, Sarah. We've got hello already. I'm just quickly signing in some of the Live's doing a rather odd thing where it's transposed my photo, my profile picture over the whole thing.
Oh.
Over both of our faces. I don't know why it's done that. So very, very strange. But we shall move on. Right, okay. Love Gallows Wood. Let's just start there. Absolutely love it. You know what a big fan I was of the Butler and West series. So I didn't want you to stop writing them. I'm hoping you'll come back to them at some point. But
I might,
Gallows Wood,
yeah. I do miss Butler and West. I miss hanging out with them. So I might. I have an idea for one which I can come back to. So I might come back to it. Yeah.
making a note of that.
I haven't had that signed off by anybody yet, but I have an idea of how I could bring them back. But yeah, they kind of came to the end of their arc, and I thought that's enough. And then I suggested this series to Canelo, and they said yes, do that. So, trying to introduce the star. Do you want to come over here? Do you want to come here? I
Is
should
Max
introduce
moving?
him. And then I don't know why I did this because he was
I
quiet.
don't know
Oh,
why I'm looking down,
there.
Max. I'll be able to see more if I lean in.
Here he is.
Hello.
So
Hello, Max.
this is my dog Max, who is a he's a cocker spaniel crossed with a sprocker. So he's like working cocker and sprocker. So he's like full on 100% crazy. And he is what Gallows Wood is based on. So in the book, she has a cocker spaniel sprocker who's a police dog, not like this lazy bum. And yeah, that's this thing here is where the idea came from. Can you go in your bed now? Go in your bed. That's a good boy. There we go. He's in his bed. No, he's not. Now he's here.
So Max is the inspiration for Lucy's dog Moss.
He is, yeah. So Max made a brief appearance in Seem to Be Believed. If you remember, there was a dog in that, and that was Max. But yeah, Moss is basically Max. So much so I have to do a search at the end of writing each book just to check that I haven't put Max rather than Moss.
And did you find Anna?
Sorry, no. Well, I do
No.
sometimes. I just write Max without thinking about it because here he is. Because he's always here. Look at him, honestly. But he's a good dog. He's a very high energy spaniel, as they all are. But yeah, he's very lovely. But yeah, now I have to get him to calm down again, which was a really bad. Don't you dare jump on my lap.
Yeah, I don't know what you were thinking, Lou.
He's thinking. Yeah, I woke him up, so which was a really bad idea. Lie down. Good boy. I've got treats, so I'll bribe him to stay in his bed. But anyway, yes, he was the inspiration to Gallows Wood.
So the idea came with Moss first and Lucy second.
Yeah, so basically, I had to take my dog trainer suggested when he was a puppy, he was even more unbearable than he is now. And my dog trainer suggested that I take him to scent classes to try and calm him down. It did not work. It just he loves them, but it didn't calm him down. And then when I was just chatting to my agent one day, I just said, "What about a police dog handler book? Police dog that searches for dead bodies?" And he was like, "Yes." Write that. So I was like, okay. So I wrote it, and and here we are now.
And we're mainly kind of from Lucy's point of view, but then you have Jack Ellis as well.
Yes.
And then we have another point of view that is in there too. I don't want to say too much about.
Yeah,
I think
Daisy.
we can talk about Daisy a bit though, can't we?
We can talk about her a bit. Yeah, she's a sort of you're not really sure why she's there or what's happening to her basically, or who she is even. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we'll leave that there.
Yeah. I can't even remember what point she pops up, sort of like a third of the way in,
Yeah,
maybe.
I'd say about a third of
Yeah.
the way in. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, most
Yeah.
of it is from Lucy's point of view, but also Jack. So, yeah.
So tell us a bit about Jack.
Yeah. So Jack is the new DI. So he's moved down from various places. He doesn't really settle. He's a bit of a sort of lone wolf character, as they all are, but he's very good at his job. He's very sort of focused and very he likes his rules. He likes to follow procedure. But initially, he doesn't really get on with Lucy because she's sort of sticking her nose in where it's not wanted. He's trying to investigate a murder, and he has this annoying dog handler sort of pushing her way in all the time. But Jack, of course, has secrets of his own, which we find out throughout the course of the book.
Yeah, that's the thing. We find out a lot about the characters through the course of this one book, and I know there'll be more to come for a lot of the characters. But what we find out is the way you generally get to know somebody. You know, you don't meet somebody and everyone shares the secrets on day one. It's kind of gradually they kind of start to build trust in each other and all start confiding different things in each other. But none of them, you've not started any of them off with the easiest of lives.
No, but then it would be boring if they
would be
were
boring, yeah.
normal. I know it's a bit of a cliche, it's a bit of a trope, isn't it? These detective and these police officers with these terrible backstories, but otherwise it's boring. You can't have all these
People have
nice,
lives.
yeah, you can't have these nice, well-adjusted people. And in a way, I kind of wanted the juxtaposition between Jack and Lucy because they are very different and they have very different lives, but they sort of need to trust each other to sort of get through what's going on in their lives and sort of learn to open up a bit. Because at the beginning, Lucy's got history as well. She's, fallen on hard times. Luckily managed to land back on her feet with the being a dog handler, but she used to be a detective. Now she's not. Her husband's, I don't think it's a spoiler to say her husband is missing because that comes out quite early on.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know where he is, but obviously we find out a lot about, that history and what happened between her and her husband, but also how it sort of interplays with Jack and his background and why he's constantly sort of running, I guess.
Because when we meet Lucy, she's an absolute mess.
Yeah.
And do you know what? She's one of my favourite characters ever. I love Lucy, and she is an absolute catastrophe when we meet her. There's, her husband's been missing for a couple of years, and she has her own theories about what might have happened. Other people have their theories. Nobody actually has a clue where he is. So she's got all of that going on, and then the team changes. There's new people in the team, so I mean, you juggled a lot here. You juggled so much
I know.
creating
I
this
like to
one.
make things like ridiculously complicated. I'm writing a book at the moment, you can see, which is this. And I saw my agent last week, and I said, I'm having I'm having a problem. Do you know what the problem is? And he says, you've made it too complicated. I was like, yes. So I always make them too complicated, and I have to strip things out. But yeah, I get overexcited and like to throw a lot of stuff in there. Keeps the attention.
The thing is, you must do so much work on it because it doesn't read as complicated. I know what you mean because I can kind of think about how many threads you were juggling and how many people you're juggling as well, but it doesn't read as complicated. So you've kind of smoothed it all out.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully it makes sense once it's been
It
done.
definitely makes sense. So before we went live, we were talking about how the characters interact with each other because obviously it's the first book in a new series. You've got at least two more.
Yeah, so at the moment I'm contracted for 3. So yeah.
So I'll ask you about those. Go on.
One's already written. I just need a final proofread, and that comes out in February. And the third one, I have some ideas. I don't really know, but yes.
So when you've created this team and they're a really good mixture of people, you can kind of see who's going to get on with who, who's got a chip on the shoulder, who's good with the banter, and we've got, for example, Jack Ellis is very, very private. You know,
Yes.
Lucy's kind of doesn't necessarily want to say everything, but can't hold it in. She just she needs to talk. She's got to this bit with her kind of situation where she wants to talk about things. He's very reserved.
Yeah, I think he likes to keep things very private, very into, so he doesn't even share that with the team at the beginning. And Lucy, she's not got much of a filter. She's quite honest. What you see is what you get, sort of thing. She doesn't really has much. I mean, she's got a very close friendship with Fran, who's the pathologist, who's the forensic pathologist. So those two are really good friends. But she's fairly alone, I think, and Jack is very alone at the beginning, so he's sort of very much existed by himself for quite a long time. But yeah, the hope, and I kind of wanted to see how their friendship sort of evolves, and it isn't, because I was told off by Calendar, it's not a two-hander, it's not a Ellis and Lucy. Oh, you still there? You've just cracked up. Oh, is that my connection or is that Sam's connection? I'm not sure what's happened. Oh, now it's just me. I'm hoping Sam's going to come back in a minute. Oh. Are you still there, Sam? Oh, I can't hear you. Is it me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear now.
No. My other camera, the one that works really well with the ring light, just broke. No, never mind. I think hopefully this one will. I did try and email you as well.
Oh, did you?
Okay. Right, let's I don't know why it's suddenly calling me Samantha. I feel like I'm in trouble. I didn't type
There
Samantha
you are, Sam Brownlee.
of that.
Oh, I've got the dog back.
Okay. Sorry,
What do you want?
let's get to some of the comments. So
Can I see the comments?
Sarah has said she loves Gallows Wood. So can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. So Sarah's saying she loves Gallows Wood, and we've got some hellos as well. So hello to everyone who's watching. What you all need to know is I'm having to click in and out to read comments. Be Live doesn't show us the comments anymore. It won't play nice with Facebook.
I was going to say, because I can't see them. Yeah. Okay.
That's why. So if you hear me clicking, you know why. So yeah, Sarah was saying that you could read from your book while I disappeared. So if it happens again,
I
that's
could
your
have
backup
done,
plan.
couldn't I? I could have done a reading. Yeah, no, I wasn't sure if I was still live though, or whether if you drop out the dog's still here. Can you lie down? Lie down.
And it was going so well until then.
I know, we were doing well. Oh.
So let's go back to the team, because you've created teams before. How difficult is it to come up with something new every time? You know, the way that sometimes people say, like, oh, I can't think of any more names, even though there must be millions of them. But we kind of get stuck on certain names. Is it similar when you're writing a team? You have to kind of you write and then you think, no, I'm writing Freya there. I need to pull this back and realise I'm writing somebody different. Or is it not like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really I write the same men. Unfortunately, I have a thing for, you know, brooding, you know, men. I mean, Jack's more put together than Robin ever was. So Robin was a bit, you know, Robin is more like Lucy, I guess, in nature. But yeah, you have to sort of try to see them as individuals, and after a while, they do get their own voice. And but names I always found difficult. So Phil Lawrence actually is the husband of somebody I know, because I was sort of writing him and I was like, yeah, I like Lawrence. And then, oh, a name that goes well with Lawrence is Phil. So I'd written this entire character, and then I suddenly realized, oh God, it's my friend's husband. So I had to email her and say, do you mind that I've put your husband in? And she was like, no, it's fine, don't worry about it.
Did she even ask him?
I think she might have asked him. Yeah, I think she probably said, do you mind? And she said, does he do anything awful? And I said, no, not really. So it's fine.
Yeah, I know I've been asked a couple of times if my name could be used in things, and I just have don't make me nothing with children, don't make me one of those people. But other than that, yeah, just kind of do something nice with me.
Yeah, there was somebody else. There was a blogger who wanted to be put in, so I put her in the Puppet Master actually. But she wanted to be a victim, and I was just like, I can't do it. It's like tempting fate. So she's like the victim's mate now. I was just like, it's tempting fate to put you in as the victim. I can't do it. So yeah, she's just the friend that comes in at the side.
Somebody has told me that they're writing me in as a character, and I'm sat in my office in the garden, and I was like, what, watching Friends on my phone with a can of beer? And they were like, I can do that, probably. So let's see if this person comment. Oh, am I back to front? Okay, let me.
You are back to front, but
I did realise that with the. So I'm being told that that's weird that I'm back to front. There you go. Is that my face now?
Yeah, now you're the right way around.
Spinning around, make myself dizzy.
Am I back to front? Let's have a look.
Oh, yes. You are. Yeah, you are.
How do you turn it around?
I should have known that, because I had a feeling your board was on the wrong side.
Well, it's here.
There's a little cog in the bottom, and you click the mirror camera button. So it's like a tick box.
I don't dare mess with it, to be honest.
You're fine. You look fine. Anyway, it's
I'll leave it alone. I don't. I'm on
a
Mac, so things might be different. I won't fiddle with
it. Who have you really enjoyed writing in this one, in Gallows Wood?
Jack, I think. I always have to rein myself in, because the problem with police dog handlers is they don't actually investigate crimes. So they are allocated a job, they turn up, they do their job. So for the victim recovery dog, they turn up to a location, they look for whatever they're looking for, dead body, blood, and then they go away again, and they don't investigate crimes. But for a book, that makes for a pretty boring book. So Lucy has to sort of find her way in with Jack, and obviously Jack's the detective, so it's always my sort of inclination to stick with Jack, but I have to remember and keep on going back to Lucy, and he's so he's probably my favorite, unfortunately. With yes, I do rather fall in love with my main male characters.
We have had this conversation before. Yeah, you do kind of write men that you like.
Yeah, I write men that I fancy, and then I have like a wall of them here, so it's very tragic, really.
Well, it works. It obviously works for you, so
yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it, so it's good fun. You get to, hang out with your favorite imaginary boyfriends all day. So yeah, it's good fun.
One way of doing it, why the hell not?
Yeah.
One of the things that I said we were going to talk about was your alter egos. So you do write as two different authors and a different style for each one. So first, remind everyone, in case anyone missed it at the beginning, of your two author names.
Yeah, so Louisa Scarr is obviously the Butler and West trilogy, I think it is, and Gallows Wood, which will be a trilogy. And then Sam Holland, I write The Echo Man, The 20, and now this one, The Puppet Master. So they're a little bit more, they're a lot darker, a little bit more grisly. The language is a little bit more graphic. The descriptions are more graphic. And it's very much about serial killers and, yes, lots of nasty, fun stuff. So they're a bit more, I go a bit more hell for leather with them.
Yeah, you really do go for it. And I'd agree. I do think Sam Holland is definitely your darker side.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Gallows Wood, when we were going out with Gallows Wood, a lot of people coming back saying, is it a cozy? And it's definitely not a cozy.
No.
You know, it is quite dark, and it does handle some quite, dark themes, but the Puppet Master is another level. I mean, the Echo Man and the 20, yeah, they're another level
Yeah.
on. They're more
Yeah.
in the sort of Mo Hader, Chris Carter sort of range.
I think I find it easier to kind of, no, easy is not the right word. The way that I settle into a Louisa Scarr book is not the same as the way I'll sit up for a Sam Holland book. Do you know what I mean? The kind of, it's that different vibe when you're reading them. But how you manage to have two separate voices, that it's just astonishing.
Yeah, you see, I don't think I do, but my agent always says they sound different, and I'm like, but it's the same. I think it's the same. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I just don't hold back.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Donna had a comment. No, it's gone. I don't know what is happening with the tech again tonight. It's not my month for technology. It really isn't.
No, it's fine.
There was we were talking about different things that I said made me laugh in the book, and a lot of them we probably can't talk about because they would be spoilers. You don't think you're funny, and I really do.
No, I think some bits are. There's an interaction in the Puppet Master between Jamie and Griffin when they're in the pub together.
Right.
And oh, I was sort of talking to a friend about it, and he was sort of like, "No, it's a pub scene. There's no action. You can cut it." And I was like, "But no, because it's one of my favorite scenes because it really shows who they are. It shows Griffin and Jamie sort of talking about." And it's important, I think, to get to know the characters in that way, and it sort of provides a bit of backstory and how those two interact and what they're like. And yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes, I think. Those two in the pub. I wouldn't say it was necessarily funny, that one though, but
I think you're really funny. There was what have I written here? So yeah, there was a line that was Jack, and it's it feels ridiculous, a grown man hiding under the covers in his boxer shorts. And I just thought that was really funny. Now we're not going to say why, people can read and find out why he's hiding. But I just, things like that are just really funny. The kind of thing of he's calling himself pathetic, like, you're hiding. Why what you hiding? Just get out of bed. Come on, you like psyching himself up and like could just imagine it.
Hiding under the covers because he doesn't want to face what's going on. He's not under there for long, but yeah, no. He does pull himself up. But that's what you would do,
that's what made me laugh.
Faced with a situation like Jack's, which obviously you don't know about yet, but you would just go to bed and you just like go, no, I'm not dealing with this. Well, I would anyway.
We won't talk about what the situation is, but that isn't a spoiler because we do know right from the start that there's something. We just don't know what it is. So you just have to wait till you get to that bit.
Yeah, and we explore, again, I won't say what it is, but it's sort of, there's a bit of reveal about what it is, but that we explore that more in book 2. So book 2 is all about this secret of Jack's and what actually happened then.
I wanted to ask that and I didn't know how to word it, so thank you.
Yeah.
How do you word that without giving things away? It's a tricky one.
What actually happened back then? So what happened to Jack and why he is how he is? But yeah, it's quite a fun. It's not fun for Jack. Fun for me.
I do like the fact that Jack turns up in kind of, he's always suited and booted. He always looks a smart, a certain way. And Lucy's just a bit more like me, hair all over the place and like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't fall asleep in my clothes covered in mud, but I feel like you really feel for everything that she's going through and everything the team's going through because Lucy's she just gets more and more wrinkled as the book goes on, like literally falls asleep. She
great in the first place.
Point of exhaustion, doesn't she?
Yeah, I mean, so one of my friends is a cop, and one of the jokes he always says is dog handlers are always like scruffy and covered in mud because logically speaking, they spend all day in a dirty van with dogs, and then when they actually go out on a call, they're in woodland, they're in whatever. So yeah, so she had to be like always slightly messy, covered in mud and dog hair and yeah, drool, and yeah, you can't be too precious if you're a dog handler, I think.
And even though she's not a detective anymore, as you said, you know, she works as a dog handler, and she has a cadaver dog, basically.
Yeah.
Even with all of that detective brain hasn't switched off. So I really like that you kept that running throughout as well, because she's intrigued by things, she's smart, she picks up on things. You know, her appearance might be messy, but there's nothing kind of messy about what's, you know, that sharpness to her brain and the things that she is just aware, and she hasn't lost that skill as a detective.
Yeah, she hasn't lost the edge of why she got to be, you know, she was a DI before. So essentially she did Jack's job before these things happened. So yeah, she hasn't lost that. And I guess she's sort of living in a sort of a halfway house at the moment, because she doesn't really know. She's got a lot of things on hold, like her house is on hold. She's not sure whether she'll get, you know, she'll go back as a detective, and she sort of has those choices to make through the book. And I sort of like the journey that she goes on to sort of decide that what do you want to do basically with your life. So
Yeah. I like the fact that straight from the off, as much as she's covered in mud, you know, that isn't it. You kind of lace through, you can tell what state of mind she's in. You know, she's moved into this house, she's been there 6 months, there's only one wine glass unpacked until somebody
yeah,
else comes around and she has to get another one out. You
yeah,
know, there's all this kind of, this thing of not settling. But Jack's got that as well. He's got a very sparse house.
yeah,
You know, they both have a long way to come in the course of the book's set over a few days, really, isn't it? Even because we're aware that things have been going on for a while, but the
yeah,
actual story is only taking place over a few days. So they make a lot of progress, which is
yeah. I think
nice to see.
it's about a week. I think I don't. All my books are set on very reduced timescales. It's just the way I like things to move along. I don't know whether I've got a very, you know, reduced boredom threshold or what, but I like things to like move quite quickly. And so that, I mean, that's where my police procedure sort of falls down, because we can't wait 3 weeks for a, you know, 6 months, whatever, for a DNA to come back. The labs in Hampshire are very, very efficient, super efficient, and very unrealistically inefficient. But I like things to sort of move along, and we get to the ending quite quickly. So yeah, there's none of that waiting.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that readers will. There's a lot of things that fiction readers won't turn a blind eye to when it comes to procedure, but you get all of your procedure right. It's just your timings you messed with. And
Yeah, I
like you
just
say,
speed
you
it up.
have to. Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise it just gets a little bit boring, I think, if you're constantly waiting for things. So yeah, I like to. I mean, I do have, as I said, I've got a friend that's a cop, but for this, I was put in touch with he's a police dog. He trains police dogs now. So he used to be a dog handler. He's retired, but he still works with the Hampshire Police Dog Unit. So he gets like the puppies in and decides, yeah, you know, what puppies to have and how to train them, and he runs all the courses and everything. So there's nothing that Paul doesn't know about police dogs in Hampshire, and I you know, use him to sort of, you know, my source of information for all the books. He's a, you know, brilliant source of information.
Nobody's going to forgive me if I don't ask dog handling questions about dogs. So there's a point where you mention the relicensing, and it never would have occurred to me that you'd understand kind of continual training and updating of skills and things. But is it literally they kind of have to be signed off every year to do another year's work? Is that?
Yeah, I can't remember the time. Is it a year? It's the specific. I think it's every year, but they have to go through. I mean, so Moss is a cadaver dog, which is a bit different. But the general purpose dogs, so the German Shepherds or the Belgian Malinois, the ones that you see do, you know, the attack bit on the arm, and yeah, they have to be signed off every year, because they are, you know, they're very dangerous dogs, and they have to make sure that their training's like top notch, and they're not going to be a danger to the public or their dog handler. So yeah, it's a really really fascinating thing that they go through, and all the the attacks. So one of the things which is wrong about the book is it's very rare, if not impossible, that a dog handler would only have a specialist dog. So they start with a general purpose dog, which is an Alsatian or a Belgian Malinois, and then they get a specialist dog. So I had to explain it. So I had to ask Paul and say, how can we explain this weird situation? So we have a workaround in the book which says why she only has a specialist dog.
And I don't think it'd be a spoiler to explain that either.
No, I cheated a bit. So I kind of said that she did have a specialist dog, but the dog got an injury, just not because it was ill or anything, just got an injury and was couldn't be a police dog anymore, so went off to live another life somewhere else. And they wanted to use their handler, so they gave her a specialist dog. So it's a bit of a fudge, but it's fun.
It is, but it seems like a realistic one. It never would have occurred to me that couldn't happen. Sounds like something that could happen. It might be rare, but it sounds like something that could.
Yeah, he sort of said, yeah, okay. So I was like, okay, yeah, we'll just explain it, and we'll sort of get around it that way.
Do the police dogs generally live with their handlers? Is that real?
They live with their handlers, but they live in kennels outside.
Okay.
So again, that's not correct. So she has Moss inside with her in the house, but I think he sleeps outside in the kennel, but she lets him inside the house. Normally, you wouldn't have police dogs in the house at all. They live in the kennels. They have very nice kennels. It's not like they have this big, it's like a big shed, and then they have a little bed box, which is like a little cozy little nook. And that's where they live. And they have a very nice life. Unlike this one, he lives in the house.
I think for the purpose of the book, though, Moss needs to live with Lucy.
Yeah, and
it would have been a completely different vibe, wouldn't it, if Moss was outside all of the time?
Yeah, and I wanted to have her sort of interact with him, and for him to be her her only friend, sort of thing. So so he's sort of in the house, although he gets locked away in his kennel at night, so that's okay. Can you go in your bed? Go in your bed.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. He's wondering why he can suddenly hear this woman's voice in the house that he doesn't recognise.
Yeah, and I keep on saying DOG as well, which she thinks, oh, that's me, I'll come and say hello. So,
yeah, I'll make sure I don't say that now then.
Yeah. Say the magic word. He's looking at me now, it's okay, he's in his bed.
Sarah said you could tell with the book just how much research you did on the dog handling procedures, and you can see it doesn't read like a manual, but it does read like you've done a lot of work.
Yeah, I've watched, if you go on YouTube as well, there's loads of YouTube videos of police dogs and doing their stuff, which is fascinating. So I always do a couple of sessions with Paul. We've sort of got in a rhythm now where we talk through the story, and he sort of tells me very broad stuff about the story and how the dogs would and how they search. And then I write the book, and then I go back to him with really specific questions, like what's the command you use here, and what would you do here, and what would happen here, and he sort of answers them bit by bit. But it's brilliant. It's really good. It's so helpful.
Did you go to any shows to see the dogs in action? Because there's a really great scene where Lucy obviously takes Moss to do a display in front of an audience.
Yeah, the county show.
The county show, yeah. So did you go and see anything like that, or did you watch that online or anything?
I watched it on YouTube. So there's a display on YouTube where they do it. They do exactly as we do in the book. So I sort of just sort of took it and they do it pretty much exactly. But yeah, I'd love to go along and see an actual display. I know that they do some. They do. I need to sort of go along and watch some. But yeah, that'd be fascinating.
How do you think Max would fare? I shouldn't say his name while he's listening. Sorry. How do you think he'd fare? You were saying that you did some sniff training with him.
I did scent training with him.
Scent training, not sniff training.
Yeah, scent training. He's good to a point. So, and it's my fault. I haven't trained him enough. So obviously, if you're a police dog, you do it every day, in and out, constant. He's got a good nose on him, and he's a good sniffer. But I think if he had any distractions, he'd get easily distracted. And yeah, he's getting there. He's pretty good. Yeah, he's pretty good. I wouldn't take him to do a demonstration though. It's not. It wouldn't end well.
Do you want to tell us something about the Puppet Master as well? Well, we've got a bit of time left, so
yeah, I'll do a bit. So the Gallows Wood is out next week today, actually. But the Puppet Master is out now. So the Puppet Master is very different. It follows the team. So if you've read any of the other books, you would have met DCI Cara Elliott and her team. One of those is her brother, called DS Griffin. So it begins as she's called out to Southampton Airport Parkway station, where a man has fallen on the tracks, and her job at the beginning is to identify, is it an accident, is it suicide? And the more they investigate, the more they find a series of suicides where all the victims are different, all the sort of methods are different, but there's just too many for it to be coincidence. And they discover that somebody is manipulating and gaslighting these people to get them to kill themselves. So it's a bit dark, a bit graphic, but yeah, it's lots of fun. And obviously their job is to find this sort of elusive, distant, how do you find the killer when they're nowhere near the crime scene, basically. So yeah, it's fun.
Is the planning for your different pseudonyms different? Do you have kind of a different way of going about it, or is the planning for each book the same?
It's pretty much the same. You end up with this board. I mean, this one's sort of in process because you can see it's not. It's got holes. But yeah, I'd sort of do it the same way. I write a very rough draft just to sort of get the hang of the story and the characters and what they're doing, and then I go back and plot it. I mean, this is one which I'm just debating whether to delete the chapter or not, but you can see I have a different color for point of view, and then I have different tabs for which plot line it is. So that the Lucy ones are simpler because they've only got Jack and Lucy. This one's got sort of like 3 or 4 points of view. So yeah, I think the Sam Holland ones are more complicated, but I do pretty much the same thing to sort of plot them. But yeah.
Yeah, Donna's saying that everyone wants to see the DOG. We're not going to say his name again, but I'm not going to make you move him.
Well, he's standing up again.
Is he?
He is standing up, yeah. I don't know. Come here. Come here. Come say hello. Come up here. I'll see if he'll jump on my lap. Come here. Where are you going?
I feel like from reading Gallows Wood with Moss.
Oh, there we go.
I feel like I know what his little cold, wet nose feels like. Just because I feel like I've spent so much time with him all week.
If I can turn around. This is Max. But he's a bit of a lump. Here we go.
Aren't we all, Max?
You're a good boy. He knows if he sits on my lap and puts his head over my shoulder, he gets a stroke. But I have to hold his bum because he's too big.
He's grown too much to sit comfortably on your knee.
Yeah, he's a very large spaniel. Oh, where are you going? Where are you going? Are you trying to get off? Oh. Yes, I know.
Looks like he's tucking in.
He's a bit floofy at the moment. He needs a trim. But yeah, he's a. Let's see if I can turn him around. There we go. That's my Max. That's my Max. He's a good boy.
There you go, Donna. You're happy now.
He does awful things like kills rats and pheasants and rabbits, don't you? That you shouldn't do. But yeah.
I don't know how to respond to that other than to say in your acknowledgements you do say, sorry, rabbits.
Yeah, sorry, rabbits. Actually, there's not many rabbits around at the moment. We were doing quite well, and then he managed to catch a pheasant the other day, didn't you? Yeah. Didn't you?
Butter wouldn't melt. Look at that little face.
Look at him. Look at that face. Look at him. Look, I know. He's a good boy. But she gets a German Shepherd in the second one. She gets and Chris, my husband, said that getting a German Shepherd was taking research too far. So I had to go and see. I had to go meet a friend's German Shepherd to spend some time. Are you tired? I know, you're a bit hot. He's a bit hot now, aren't you?
Donna says thank you. So worth it.
Oh, here he is. There you
Hello.
go. He's trying to get on the desk. Shall I put you down? I'll put you down.
Getting too big for your lap.
He is too big. He's not a lap dog. He is much too big.
Right. Tell us what you can about book 2. Do you know the name yet, or is that too? Can you not reveal that yet?
It's called Memorial Park. Because we're doing locations, it seems. We're doing locations. So Memorial Park is about it's set in Fordingbridge. So if anybody knows Fordingbridge.
I'm nodding, but no.
Yeah. No, you're too far north, but it's near the New Forest, basically. And it's about a child who goes missing. So a 3-year-old called Rosie goes missing from Memorial Park very early on a Wednesday morning. And it's about the search to find her. So obviously all the teams are deployed, the dog teams are deployed. It's about the search to find her and what they find as a result that links to Jack's history. So it's these two sort of investigations going side by side, and now the dog's really excited. You're not getting back up. Go in your bed for a minute. I'm just getting treats so I can get him back in my bed.
Yeah, sorry, we're not being helpful, are we?
Good boy. There we go. There we go. Yeah.
We're not being helpful at all.
So I really Memorial Park. Yeah, it's good fun. It's about this sort of missing child search, basically, and how they look for the other dogs. So there's loads of dogs involved. There's Lucy's got a German Shepherd called Iggy, and he's a general purpose track and attack dog. And then of course she has Moss still. And then Lucy's sort of boyfriend, Pete, who we meet in the first one, he has more of a role, and he's got a German Shepherd called Dax and a drug dog called Pepper. So yeah, so there's lots of dogs. There's 4 dogs involved. So yeah.
A lot for you to manage there again.
Yeah, a lot of dogs. You always have, this is the problem with having dogs. You always have to be aware of where the dogs are and whether they're fed and whether they're watered and who's looking after them. And yeah, so it's a real pain.
Mike Craven talks a lot about Edgar, and he says now he just throws in a line to say that Edgar's with Victoria, the neighbour, or, he's wherever. You always have to point out.
You always have to be aware where the dogs are. I mean, police dogs are useful because they're used to being left. They're often left in the car. And even so, Gallows Wood is set in a June heat wave, and you can leave police dogs in police cars because they have aircon. Even when the engine's off, they have inbuilt aircon, so the dogs are fine. So yeah, you can leave the dogs in the car. So she does quite a lot, leave them in the car, and it's fine. But yeah, it's a pain.
So we're going to talk about Pete then. Pete Nash.
Pete Nash.
What can we say about Pete Nash?
He's hot.
You do have Lucy and Fran having a conversation about him.
Yeah.
And that is the general consensus in between them.
Yes, he is very hot. I can tell you what he looks like because there's a picture here.
Go on.
But yeah, he's very hot. I'll tell you what they all look like. Wait a minute, I'll turn it around.
I've not seen you board for a while, so
yeah, here's the board. This is the Gallows Wood board. So where's Jack? There's Jack. And this is Pete here with the dog. So yes, he's very attractive. Again, it's a really hard job that I have.
Absolutely, yeah. Does your husband read your books?
Yeah, but very late on, and normally because I kind of say you should probably read it now. And he
be supportive, read the book.
Yeah, exactly. Be supportive, read the book, and he picks them up and sort of reads them, and then he goes, "Yes, it's good," in a very sort of very flat tone. I'm always saying, "Thanks."
Donna wants to know: was it harder to name the humans or the dogs?
So Moss was always Moss. Dax is sort of an in-joke because he's a German Shepherd. I don't know if you've ever. So Kristen Bell, the actress, her husband is called Dax Shepherd.
So okay, yeah.
I wanted to call the dog Dax, so he's Dax because he's German Shepherd. But no, I mean, apart from that, it was fairly easy.
Yeah, not too worried about the names. Maybe Donna's worrying about the names for her book.
Yeah.
What do you think, Donna? Hard to name humans?
Yeah. It is hard to name humans. I do often pick them up from, if I'm watching a TV program, I'll think, oh, that's a good name, and I'll just write a note and then Yeah, it is really hard to name humans, I think. Get in your bed. Sorry.
Your book launch is next week. Are you doing anything on launch day?
No. I did actually think maybe I should do something. I don't know. See if someone's about and wants to go for lunch. Yeah, I don't know. I've left it a bit late now. I'm definitely not doing a full-on launch. That's like way too much effort. But yeah, if somebody's around and wants to go for lunch, I could be tempted out. But yeah, I don't know.
Maybe somebody else from the Canelo stable.
Yeah, I've got an event the night before in Shoreham. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
So we have got about 5 minutes left, just over. Sarah's saying, how about a giveaway? That would be great. Sarah, you've already read the book.
I did a giveaway. So I did a giveaway. Oh, Canelo did quite a big giveaway. They gave away, I think, 9 copies. And I did a giveaway on my newsletter and gave away a copy. But yeah, so yeah, I could do another one. Haven't got round to it yet. I could.
Now, I haven't asked this for a while. It's one of my favourite questions. I don't ask it very often. Can you tell us about the latest scene that you wrote, but without giving spoilers?
Yeah, latest scene that I wrote. What, from scratch or just edited or?
Just wherever you're up to. What was the last bit you worked on today, but not if it'll spoil anything?
Well, it's kind of an interesting one. So if anybody's, so it would be this one. I edited it today. So if anybody's read Echo Man, so this is the 4th book in the series, and if anyone's read Echo Man, it's probably not a spoiler to say, but it ends on a bit of a cliffhanger, which we revisit in book 4, and we finally answer that question.
Okay.
Of who is the Echo Man. So that question is answered in this one. And the scene I wrote is Kara investigating, redigging the case files out and reinvestigating that investigation. So that case. So it all resolves in book 4. So if you want to know, what happens at the end of Echo Man, what happens after Echo Man, you need to obviously read 2 and 3 because that gives you a bit more thing. But yeah, 4 will answer that question. We'll settle that forever.
I think people will forgive a cliffhanger if you A, eventually answer it, and B, by the time they start reading, they know there's already more books, so they can kind of, there's something like a buffer to it.
Yes, because I don't think I'll ever do that again. Because of the fallout of it and the fact that it's so unresolved. But yeah, it will be answered in book 4, and yeah, that's fine. So it's fine. There will be a big end game at the end of, it's like the Avengers. It all comes together and it's a big end game. So yeah, it's lots of fun. That's what I was doing today, editing that.
Oh, Sarah's favourite question. She's asking, what would your internet search history say about you?
Oh God, it's awful.
When you first started out as an author, were you really tentative when you were typing things into the internet, and now you'll just throw anything in there?
Oh, I don't care at all. Anything goes in. I'm just looking at my history. I didn't do much today. I didn't do much yesterday either. I'm just having a look.
Be careful what questions you read out, just in case it's an accidental
in case it's
spoiler.
Big spoilers, yeah. I'm trying to look for. Oh, you see, that's all bathrooms because I'm having my bathroom done. So that's not. It's anything from. This is dog food. There you go. That explains a lot, doesn't it? Generally, it's anything I'm working on from, where. How do you get from here to there to? I do sometimes. Oh, sun and moon, sunrise times. There you go, sunset and sunrise time. So that was quite a small one. Something I was trying to research quite early on was how do you get bodies out of concrete? So if somebody buries a body, it's a bit of a spoiler, but if somebody buries a body in concrete, how do you get the body out, and how do you see them, and what's the decomposition? How does that vary in concrete? So I was doing a lot of research into dead bodies in concrete, which was quite interesting. It's quite fun. Yeah.
We had Jane Isaacs on probably a couple of years ago now, and she decided as part of her research to bury a body, not a body, let's be clear, I think it was a pork shoulder, something like that,
It's
in
normally
concrete.
pig.
Yeah. Because that's the closest to human.
Yeah, so there's so a whole lot of scientists decided to do an experiment with a whole lot of dead piglets. So they buried them in concrete, and then at certain times they dug them up so they could see, how they do. Do you want to go in your bed, please? You're just breathing dog breath in my face. Honestly, it's not great. So they could see, how to, and yeah, piglets are usually used in lieu of human bodies. Because they're apparently the most similar in terms of decomposition, and the skin is apparently the most similar. If you ever wanted to know that, sorry, I'm just
quite disturbing. Yeah,
it's quite disturbing.
So she buried it. Jane buried it in concrete and left it for a year. Dug it up, middle of summer, everyone's having barbecues in the gardens around hers, and as they broke through the concrete, decomposition started and it stank. So they're desperately trying to get rid of it because all these people are enjoying the gardens.
Yeah, I haven't done that.
No, don't do that.
It doesn't seem like a good idea. I would be honest.
No, I feel like MAX would be bringing some very rotten smelling things into the house if you decided to do that.
Yeah, no. Oh my God, no. Can you imagine? No, I haven't carried out research to that extent. I do a lot of Googling.
Yeah.
And I ask people questions, but yeah, I don't. Yeah.
I'm guessing Googling smells better.
Yeah, and I had to have a real conversation. So my stepbrother-in-law's a doctor, and there's a bit at the end of the book I was currently writing where someone's being tortured. So I had to have a conversation with him about whether what I'm doing to this person will actually kill them.
Right.
And he was like, so I said, what if I do this? And he was like, no, you'll kill him after about a day. I was like, okay, so what if I do this? And he was like, yeah, still you're going to kill him. I was like, okay, so what if, so this awful conversation with what if I put him on a chair? Can I torture him on a chair? And he was like, well, they'll probably survive longer if you sit him down. Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing I Googled. How long can a person survive without food? That was quite an interesting day, Googling starving people.
A day? Did you really just go down a rabbit hole there?
Yeah, it was a good few hours of researching what happens to how long humans can survive, and then what happens to the body when they're starved of food, basically. So yeah, it's nice, wasn't it, Max?
We do have some interesting conversations, Lou.
I know. It's a different world. These things you have to explore. Sorry. Picking things out of dog fur is also a hobby of mine.
And just like that, it is 8 o'clock. Only a couple of tech gremlins, nothing too bad.
I know. And he left me, and a dog. Yeah.
So give us a recap. Tell everybody what they're going to go and pre-order and go and buy.
Yes. So if you want to see more of dogs, let me get the dog out of the way. This is here. He's just in the way, aren't you, Maximo? Yes. So if you want more lovely police dogs, it's Gallows Wood, which is out next Thursday. And if you like serial killers and things a little bit more gruesome, then The Puppet Master is out now. Or if you want to start from the beginning, The Echo Man is the first one in the series, and that's a lot of fun.
Fantastic! Thank you so much.
A bit of cromance, as we're calling it, a bit of crime with romance. Butler and West is yours.
Oh yeah, you've got to go and get Butler and West. So everyone needs to go and start with Gallows Wood, then go back to The Echo Man, and go and meet Freya and Robin.
Then go back to Last Place You Look and do all the Butler and West, and then
absolutely.
Then I would have written a few more books and you'll be fine.
Yeah, and we'll be caught up.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much. I will drop some links into the group unless you would like to do that yourself. That is completely up to you. We'll talk about that afterwards, obviously. Okay. And thank you to everyone who's watched and asked questions. Oh, Donna's saying she's got books on her Kindle. She just has a TBR battle. Knock everything else out the way and get on with it, Donna. Come on.
Absolutely.
Letting the side down.
Do it.
Thank you so much. It's been lovely having you. I hope you come back for book 2.
Yes, of course.